Woo.
Okay, so I believe
Probably put that mic level up a bit.
mic level up a bit. Alrighty, I'll put the mic level up a bit.
Sweet, we're live.
So now we should be live. Ah, live. Stream health. We've got a healthy stream.
Yay!
Hey!
Scratching my eye. Hey, welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy time pedal show live stream podcast. Number 2, we're going to have a crack at this.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this on a normal podcast, welcome. If you're listening to this live on YouTube,
The internet can totally see you now. To stop, use your encoder. Okay, cool.
cool. Totally see us.
Totally see us now. Okay, so let's put that there and let's put that there so we don't have... Yeah, that's better, so we can actually see what we're doing in normal time.
Very cool.
So, welcome to the Super Fun Awesome Happy Time Pedal Show podcast.
Woo.
My name's Kabul.
Hey, welcome. I'm Alex. And I hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are on the planet. Hope the weather's shining down on you, even if it's night time. I know, I just kind of started talking there.
I did have a friend is maybe a loose word, but a guy that I knew was a bit of an idiot. Who, let's just say he was a DJ.
Oh, yeah.
Who, in the days of when bands like Limp Bizkit were very cool, he was in a band that was quite a heavy band, and he was a DJ in that band doing waka stuff. And he was a bit of a douchey guy, generally. I'm not going to mention any names, but he this is, I was like 18, 19, 20 in those days, and used to run into him quite often at nightclubs. Right. And he would wear sunglasses at night in nightclubs, and I'd always say to him, "Oh, it's pretty bright in here. It's good to have the sunnies on." And his thing was, "When you're as cool as me, the sun shines in your eyes 24/7." As lame as it gets, but
wow,
that was him. So,
yeah, wow,
yeah,
that's next level.
That's the next level of douchiness. And we have one person watching. Hello, one person. So this is basically, we've done it, I don't know, a month ago or something like that, or whenever it was. It was sort of an impromptu thing where we did a live podcast, which is also Q&A, and this is a live podcast. So if anyone is watching and if anyone wants to ask us any questions, this is the time to do it. You can watch this on YouTube, and you can also listen to it on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and Spotify. In a couple of days.
Are we doing SoundCloud, or is that going there?
SoundCloud's just too much of a pain in the butt. But maybe, possibly, every once in a while on SoundCloud.
Cool.
Possibly. So before we even start, hello to everyone, and sort of housekeeping kind of thing. So if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on one of the aforementioned podcast broadcasting apps, I don't know, things. Take a photo of whatever it is you're looking at. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't take a photo of us on YouTube, like around where you are. And, either email it to us, and the email address is superfunawesomehappytime, all one word, superfunawesomehappytime @gmail.com, or post it to our Facebook, which is basically if you just type in Super Fun Awesome, all one word, or Super Fun even, you find us. But yeah, Super Fun Awesome Happy Time Pedal Show. And make sure to check out all our social media, YouTube. Please make sure to subscribe to everything. Tell your friends. And if you are the one person that is watching this at the moment, press the thumbs up, share it with your friends, write something, say hello, tell us where you're watching from and who you are.
That'd be fantastic.
And I should say, we just did the, are you taking a photo of what you're looking at right now?
Yep.
Excellent.
This is like Inception.
It is, wow. We talk about that a lot in here.
It's a good thing to describe anything that's a bit weird.
Yes. We also just did the, cool. Jason got back to me. We just did the giveaway for the Gypsy Haze pedal, and Jason Eshelman won it in Athens, Georgia, in America. So he just messaged me just then.
Congratulations.
So hello, Jason, or maybe you're the one person watching. You never know. But cool. So congratulations. So that was a month-long thing. Big thank you to... We should have said that actually in the other video as well. But big thank you to the guys at Cast Engineering. I think it's Steve at Cast Engineering.
Yeah,
And
why not?
Peg and Steve at Peerless Music here in Australia for
Definitely,
providing that, and big thank you for that. Absolutely awesome people. I also wanted to say a quick hello and thank you to Troy Renshaw, who seems to be sharing a lot of our stuff on social media. So big thank you, Troy. The usual suspects: Ram Jawn, Samuel Detweiler, Bruce Comcott, JC Anthorpe, Mason Green, Greenchild Effect. Hi, Mason. Hugh Roberts, Carl Flyman, Nicholas Quintero, and Sean Wright from Lollygator Effect. So hello, everyone. Big thank you for sending in pictures and sharing stuff. And actually, I haven't checked if we had a really recent post to our thing where someone posted a picture. But so, how you doing, Alex? By the way, Alex, anything new and interesting, or?
Lots of gigs this last week or so.
Oh, yeah?
So, I messaged you about this.
Oh, Jason is watching. Hi, Jason. Thanks.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you missed the stream before. We just did the stream just before, but
yeah, we're still working out how this live thing works and all.
Yeah,
because you got to link.
You've got to link
software
things
to the website.
And I set up an event.
Yeah.
Like that, there was an event coming, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me stream to the event. It started a separate stream. But anyway, yeah. So Ram once again sent us this picture. He always sends us cool pictures. World's okayest dad. I've got a mug that says "World's greatest dad."
Sucked in. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
Oh yeah, I've probably mentioned this a few times. I do a lot of live sound gigs. That's probably most of my gigging income as far as music work comes from.
Yeah.
And I was mixing a band, and it's the Lucky Dolly band or group. I think they're called Group. Anyway, Lucky Dolly's a fantastic keys player.
Yes.
So it's a trio. It's Hammond, mostly Hammond stuff, but also has this really cool, like 70s electric piano organ thing, which has like a whammy bar in it.
Yeah, I've seen that. He's got this whammy bar on his organ. It's like a huge sucker on the top of the thing, yeah.
If you're on the podcast, you can't see my hand, but it's probably like, I don't know, 2/3 of a metre long.
Okay.
And it's kind of bent up.
So like maybe like a oh god, I don't know, is it 60-something keys? Anyway, yeah, whatever.
Oh, the amount of keys, yeah, it's probably a little bit longer than this
one.
Yeah.
That's 49, I think.
Yeah, sure. But it's pretty old, and I think there's like strings in it or something, because you can actually bend the whole thing, like pitch bend it with this arm.
Okay.
And he ran that organ into a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe with a wah, with a Crybaby, and a muffletter. JHS.
Oh yeah, you were saying which is I've got someone here as well.
Yeah, and so that was super cool. But the Hammond was going into a Leslie, which is cranking.
An actual Leslie.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So the van rocks up the venue. We had Backline, the company I was production company I was working for, had Backline and PA there. But yeah, the whole van rocks up and it's just his keyboard rig. So he's got a full like Hammond with like it's the like furniture piece of furniture really, and it's kind of he made wheels that flip up under it to move it around. And
very cool.
Except it fell out the back of the van at the front.
Oh no!
It had like this like quilted thick like moving blanket type cover on it, and they pulled it out of the back to like put the front like first set of wheels on the concrete, but then it just went whoop, and then stood up on its head.
Ah. So, but nothing happened. It worked.
Yeah, it's fine. But I was like a few meters away, just kind of watched it happen in slow motion. I couldn't get there fast enough to help. Oh no, the Hammond's fallen over. But
it survived. That's the most important part.
Yeah, what a killer band. And do you know Jacob Mann plays drums in Brisbane?
Yeah, I've done a gig with him.
Yeah.
Afro.
Kind of.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He played with Band of Frequencies a little bit as well, and I've done a couple of gigs with him, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've played him with him once. This kind of pop gig.
Very young dude, but very solid drummer.
He's not that young.
Isn't he?
He's older than me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different guy.
Possibly, yeah.
Hang on, just quickly. So, Jason just sent me a picture. Who won the Gypsy Haze He's actually working in the studio today.
Oh, cool.
So there's that. So, okay, sorry, go back to Jacob Mann.
Yeah, and that's cool. He was playing drums. Yeah, really good drummer. Killer bass player from Sydney that came up. Was on the road with Lockie, and yeah, just super fun. Really kind of like rock and soul. Yeah.
I thought he was a fair bit younger, personally. But anyway,
might be my age.
I thought he was like young, like as in like in his 20s kind of thing.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, really fun band if you want to check it out. Like really rock and soul, groovy, keys, kind of occasionally like some New Orleans funky type, John Cleary-esque stuff. But
very cool.
Just almost a little bit like Cream type stuff as well.
Okay.
That
as in Cream, as in Eric Clapton Cream.
Yeah, but obviously all Hammond based, so it's no guitars. But
oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So that was fun hearing this old organ with a pitch bend arm, and he said he can only do it like a few songs a set because if you go too hard, you can break the strings on it. Because he's quite theatrical with his playing. Like he's got long hair and jumps around. And
yeah, I've seen some videos of him. I've seen some videos of him.
Yeah, it's cool.
No, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah, Lockie Dolly Group. Check them out. That's we've got a Facebook page and all that stuff.
And that was not far. That was just down the road from here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Thing.
I suppose you didn't hear it. It's super loud.
I probably did and blamed my new neighbours who are noisy and annoying people. But anyway. Paolo, hello again. Yes.
Was it from Brazil?
He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Was it obrigado? Is that obrigado in Portuguese? My mum partially grew up in Sao Paulo.
Really?
So after le war,
it's French,
which is French for the war. She was born in Germany, like in 1943, like right bad time in Berlin. Rather bad time to be born in Berlin. And anyway, they obrigado. That's it. My grandpa was an architect, and after the war they moved to France for a little while, and she lived in France and grew up. She did primary school in France, but then my grandpa got a contract, a fairly big contract for work in Brazil. So the whole family moved to Brazil, and apparently there's a hospital in Sao Paulo somewhere that my grandpa was one of the architects and designers of a big hospital in Sao Paulo.
Was he a musician at all?
No.
Right. Because that's interesting. Similar story with my grandparents. Cause
Ram John told me to say hello. Oh, hello.
Thanks.
Hello, Ram. Well, we just showed his picture, so I'm sure he's going to send us another cool picture.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
So my granddad, he was they were Dutch, and similar sort of thing. They had my auntie and my uncle. I think my uncle's my auntie was born during the war in Holland.
So he lives in Rio. Not Sao Paulo, but yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, so similar. Like my auntie was born in Holland during the Second World War, so that was again pretty average time. But my granddad, he was an organ player. Oh
yeah, you mentioned that, didn't you? To me once.
Yeah.
Didn't he release a record or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard it. It was kind of like, I think it was like maybe a couple of traditional folk songs or something.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
traditional Dutch songs.
Yeah. You know,
Mijn clogs got caught in the dark today.
Yeah, cool.
Paulo's never been to Sao Paulo. Yeah, neither have I. I've never been to Brazil, and I just know my mum has okay, so this is kind of, this has nothing to do with pedals and nothing to do with music, but on my dad's side, that side of the family's from Hungary originally, and there's still a lot of family in Hungary. Anyway, one of my dad's aunts or some relation, I don't quite know exactly what, but I think she may be maybe a cousin or something of my dad's. Anyway, something like that, similar sort of age as my dad. Her husband is Portuguese, and I know that it was all, in my house when I grew up. There was tons and tons of different languages spoken all the time, and whenever we went to see them or we met with them, my dad always spoke Hungarian with his cousin or whatever she is.
Yeah.
And my mum, because my mum doesn't speak Hungarian, was always really happy to go and see those guys because they could speak Portuguese. Because he's Portuguese and she knew Portuguese because I think she did high school in Brazil. Yeah. So she speaks Portuguese fairly fluently.
Practice it, yeah.
And she could practice it, and she was always really happy to do it. So anyway, yeah, just a sort of side story. So yeah, with Portuguese. Anyway, what were we talking about? Well, we got sidetracked. Oh, what's new? Anything else that's new with you?
Oh, that. I'm not sure. I forgot what we're talking about.
Is there anything new with me? I bought some more DoD pedals.
Yeah.
That haven't arrived yet, but I bought some of the...
So your stash is getting pretty big.
Yeah, it's up there. There's more and more now. I also just started doing some videos with DoD. Some that I'm about to bring out there, like just quick 5-minute videos, no talking, just running through a couple of things. And if people are interested and want to see more about those and see more videos on those, you can just leave comments underneath the videos, and we'll do proper like videos the way we usually do it. But these are just sort of quick 5-minute videos here. Actually, one of the videos that we just recently did, which got a lot of views and some hate and some not so much hate, was the DS1 into the effects return.
Yeah.
And I got some messages going, oh, everyone's ripping off that Ola England because he did the Metal Zone. And I mean, lots of people did it before. And actually, a friend of mine, Dewey, I don't know if he's watching or if he's around, but a guy who I knew from back in the 90s from the original music kind of scene around Southeast Queensland here. He was in another band. And anyway, he commented and he said, he's been doing this for years.
Right.
And he said, especially sort of amp in a box kind of pedals. If you have like a Fender amp, but you want it to not sound like a Fender, go into the effects return. So what we're going to do, and there's going to be copying lots more crap for it. But anyway, I want to do a video where we do a whole bunch of amp in a box pedals.
Yeah, cool.
Do it in front and into the effects loop and see if it makes a difference. So pedals like Box of Rock, which is meant to be Plex in a box. Pedals like the Bogner Ecstasy, which I've got. Pedals, sorry?
Yeah, heaps of Marshall ones.
Like
the other ZVX one, the red one we've got.
Oh, the Bassman one, the Super.
Oh, that too.
59 sound. Is that what it's called?
So there's that pedal showed you the thing on that where they use what are those really nice valve preamps from the UK? Like
the Kingsley one. Kingsley stuff?
Yeah.
The ones that Chris has got one now as well. Yeah, Kingsley, I'm pretty sure they're called.
And they do that into an effects loop, and that sounds killer.
Well, I want to, because I think Chris is just about to come back. He just spent 6 months overseas in Maldives and in Kuala Lumpur, I think, playing at some fancy ritzy nightclub. He has, I think, 2 of the Kingsley pedals, and I want to do a shoot up with that and can you see it there? That one. The Mostronics Tube Driver, which I think is, in my humble opinion, one of the best distortion pedals I've ever played. So it'd be interesting to try them out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, I also have...
Yeah, that looks comfortable.
There. Oh, you can't see it. There's the Mostronics valve preamp, which I still have to do a video of, which is killer, actually. And sounds really good. I've used bass through it, and it sounded really good through it as well. And synth through it as well. So I think we're going to do a video where we do every possible combination of how you can hook it up. There's cab sim in it as well and stuff. So,
nice.
But yeah, so the DoD videos, I've got a whole bunch of them. I'm sort of collecting the old DoD videos, DoD pedals, and I really quite like them. I think personally, one of the most underrated series of effects pedals ever made.
They're one of those things that don't take themselves too seriously.
No, but
it's just fun.
I think
even just visually.
And I think that's the whole point with them. That they were sort of early 90s, and they were one of probably the first brand to ever kind of step outside the box. I mean, before that, things looked kind of like that. without the Wazacraft thing. But you know, pedals were basically. I mean, hang on, let's have a look at some stuff.
There was some boutique stuff, but it's not much.
Not much, no. But I mean, pedals basically were either like this,
like Ibanez.
It was pretty much either that, which is not focusing. Focus. Ah, there it is.
You have to shake it.
You have to shake it. So they either looked like that, or they looked like maybe. Yeah, let's go for that one because it's
you need that one.
Beaten up, or they look like that.
Yep. Or occasional electro-harmonics, big box stuff.
Oh yeah, well okay, all right, let's go for that as well. Or they looked like that.
With or without the rust.
And then really.
So how old are the Route 66 things?
Don't know, but they would have been around. They were around in the 90s.
Yeah,
so I think
mid 90s.
These were one of the first sort of different, in my opinion, anyway. This is just going down sort of memory lane, but these are one of the sort of first ones that I remember seeing in magazines that looked different. Had a different shape, and I still, if anyone has it's called H2O Chorus Delay, I would like to purchase one of those. But really, it was when these guys came out with this stuff. Where are we? There. Where you put like 5 grunges next to each other. They all look different because the paint jobs they're just sort of splatter paint jobs. They put different, that sort of look, a crackle look, but then the others have like the death metal has blood, things on it and real blood, yeah. But I mean, they were one of the first, in my opinion anyway. Oh, we're down to 4 viewers now. No one likes DoD. Anyway, I'll keep talking about DoD. I think they were one of the first brands, if not the first brand, to kind of think a little bit out of the box. And personally, I really like them. And people make fun of them. But like with the DS1, I mean, there were, for so many years, if you would have said to someone, a Boss DS1 sounds good, you would have gotten a lot of crap from people. Yeah. But it's how you use it.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Boss DS1, you have to turn the tone all the way down, basically, and you have to have the volume all the way up. And you don't want the gain all the way up. And then it actually sounds really good. When I did the video of the Boss DS1, wherever I put it back, of the Boss DS1 into the effects loop, I plug it, before I even plug it into the front, I plug it into the effects loop, because I had this kind of, I remember they don't sound that good. I plugged into the effects loop and I went, wow, that sounds great. Then I plugged into the front of the amp and I went, holy crap, that actually sounds really, really good.
Sure.
Because the other thing is, that was the first time I plugged it into the Marshall. Before then, it's been mostly, when I ever had a DS1, it's been going into like a Fender style amp like that.
And the top end of each of those amps is very different.
Yes. It sounds very different going into a Fender and very different going to the Marshall. Into the Marshall, it sounds killer.
Yeah.
It sounded like, I was really surprised how good it sounded. And there's comments on the video. You can check it out, on YouTube. Comments on the video saying, wow, that sounded really good.
Didn't expect that.
And I didn't expect it either. And then, to be totally honest, I did a quick 5-minute video of the grunge, and I have it also going into the effects loop. And it actually sounded quite good into the front, but it has this really kind of buzzy top end.
Yeah.
But going into the effects loop, it doesn't.
Really?
That's what the effects loop does a lot of times. It gets rid of a lot of that. And I watched 60 Cycle Hum, actually. Hi, Ryan, Steve. 60 Cycle Hum did a video where they plugged into the grunge into the effects loop.
Yeah, right.
And it didn't sound all that flash. But again, with that, you have the phase control, which is the top end. You've got to turn it all the way down.
Sure.
And I thought it sounded good.
Interesting.
I actually quite like it.
Yet.
No, because they're not up yet, and I can show you after this. But
yeah, cool. Well, that's kind of. I think we've mentioned about this in another podcast. It's kind of, whether it's gear or like bands you like, it's kind of comes from that teenage years.
Yeah. Well, the DoD stuff is when I first started playing guitar, sort of, and I've mentioned this on the last Q&A kind of podcast, live stream podcast we did. Probably one of the bands that got me into playing guitar and got me wanting to play guitar more than any other band was Nirvana.
Yeah.
And I was a huge into the whole grunge thing. So I really like this stuff. And I mean, that was the first one I bought. And I bought it probably in 94 when it came out, or 95 or something like that. I bought the grunge. So it's old. And I remember looking at the magazine ads and going, oh, I really like them. And just the fact that you have the meat box, you know, and it has flies on it, and it comes with stickers of flies. And
Does it really?
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
you know, you have the buzz box, and they all look different, you know, and a pumpkifier, and it's sort of camo, and I just loved the way they looked, and I mean, it was a marketing thing more than anything else, but I really, truly believe it is possibly the most underrated series of pedals. And even before that, all the earlier stuff, the original series of stuff, is great. I've got one of the original, like, mid-80s, one of their choruses and one of the flanges coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, at the time, they were sort of on par with, you know, the Bosses and Ibanez's and stuff. But, and in quality as well.
Yeah.
With same components. So they all had the cool Bucket Brigade chips in and stuff like that.
Yep.
The only difference is you buy the DoD chorus, which is basically the same as the Boss chorus, for $30, and the Boss, what is it? The CE2, yeah, the one with the two knobs.
Yep.
For $300.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference. But in the end, it's basically the same. It's just because everyone is like, "Oh, Boss is so great at the moment," and they are. I always like Boss, and I am buying some Boss pedals slowly again, Japanese ones. But the DD stuff, yeah, I think it's killer, and it's still cheap. And I shouldn't even mention it because I don't want people to buy it because I want to buy all of them cheap. But yeah, and this stuff too is really good, really good.
It is fun.
That and the Focus, that and the Route 66, and I really want to get the chorus delay, which is all Bucket Brigade as well. So it's all analog stuff. So it's all really cool stuff. And if any one of the viewers out there have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, we'll just keep yapping on what we always do anyway. But.
Just hanging out. Now, I've mentioned this before in that other video, but I've watched. I love this video. I've watched the Tim and Pete guitar show.
Was it in this video or the other video? Was it in the other video?
Yeah,
in the other video, okay.
The competition.
Yes.
The Tim and Pete guitar show with Michael Thompson, I've watched it about 4 times now.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. He's just got the coolest ambient guitar tones. And the way he does it is Strat, 2 compressors, like one into the other one. And the second one has like a presence boost.
Okay.
So otherwise it just gets dull and squishy.
Yeah.
And then you go into a bunch of reverbs and delays and things. But before that, he's got the vibrato, the Boss Wazacraft vibrato, and has
got one of them,
like this one here in fancy blue. And
didn't let it focus.
Yeah. They can see
Amateurs.
They can see the colour.
Can they?
But he has it on the latch mode. Or was it unlatch?
Well, just as you push it.
Momentary, yeah.
Momentary, unlatch.
So the technique is he like does, whether it's an EBO thing or like a volume sweater, volume pedal, and the end of the tail he just holds on the vibrato, so you get this, and then it starts to modulate off the back of the tail.
Okay.
And he said he has all these things like that, where, because he's been recording on albums since early 80s.
Since he was 4 years old.
Yeah. He kind of has like all these like combinations. I thought it's a really cool concept where, you know, it would be like this pick on that guitar with that overdrive pedal and that.
Okay, yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
You know, this kind
Flanger.
of. Yeah. Flanger.
Flanger. Oh, oui.
Yeah. And and it's kind of, it's this kind of tricky thing because he's, you know, doing it for a living. So you've got to put parts on records and try and be productive and not spend a week on one song.
Yeah.
So otherwise you won't make any money. So there's this kind of, I thought it was an interesting concept where it's like partially workflow and knowing what works for what parts, but then some of it still kind of goes through the motions a bit then. Then you're not really, I don't know, you're not being creative sound wise.
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess it's with anything becomes a job rather than a hobby.
Yeah.
You have to balance especially any artistic kind of.
It just becomes.
You have to balance the work and the artistic side.
Yeah.
So like just trying to. I love that idea of having like combinations that work really well and finding them, but you got to still.
Yeah, well, it's like with anything. It's after a while, you. I mean, I guess when you do solo gigs like I do, and you play in restaurants, and after a while, you don't even think about what you're playing. It just becomes second nature, and that's the danger. Then it just becomes you don't even think about what you're doing. It's like, oh, you know, what's on the shopping list? You know, not what you're doing.
And that could be true for both covers and original gigs.
For anything, yeah.
Because even if you're playing original band and you play the same songs for 2 or 3 years, the band might have tracks and you're doing all click track and in-ears and stuff. And you basically become a covers band of yourself. You
do. And I mean, you hear that's what a lot of bands complain about. You know, the Nirvanas with, we don't want to play Smells Like Teen Spirit anymore. Because we had a few questions now. Okay, so let's go in order.
Cool.
Jack in R. Is it Jack in R or Jacqueline R? I don't know. Yo, what's your favorite Edge of Breaker pedal? Also, do you guys know Earthless? The guitarist is a signature muff pedal from Tim Guitar. Yeah, I know, yeah. I do. Yes, I have heard of Earthless. I haven't heard a lot of the stuff, but I have heard of Earthless. And I do know the Tim signature pedal. I don't think I've ever played one of them, but I have seen it in real life at Tim's a couple of times. Favorite Edge of Breaker pedal? Well, I say that a lot.
I know what it is.
yeah. I think Box of Rock.
Yeah.
For me, the ZVEX Box of Rock. Do I have one floating around here somewhere? I might have one floating around here somewhere. It's all plugged in. Box of Rock, I think, is killer. Yep. The secret with the Box of Rock is, so you've got the distortion side and you've got the boost side. I always have the boost on, not as a volume boost, but just it adds this presence.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, and
that's the super hard on boost.
That's a super hard on boost. It has some sort of a
which is worth getting, even if you.
Yeah. It has this really nice breakup side to it, and for me, the Box of Rock is an almost always on pedal. 99.9% of the time, I have it on. If you play gigs, and most of my gigs, I can't turn up too loud, and even bigger stages and stuff, quite often they don't want you cranking too loud. The sound guys don't want you going too loud. But a lot of venues that I play at and a lot of things that I do, I can't go too loud. So you can't have the amp cranking to get natural breakup. For that, the Box of Rock, I think, is killer. Absolutely killer. Yep. Just really natural sounding breakup. And one of the things I really like about it is it works really, really well with other drive pedals. So I have it as pretty much the very last thing in my effects chain. The only thing that's after is a boost for volume boost, if I want a volume boost.
Sure.
So I have a volume boost pretty much as the very last thing in my effects chain. But I have it second last in my effects chain, and all my drive pedals go into it, and they work really well together.
Yeah, cool.
So I think it's a really, really good pedal for that. The other one that's great Edge of Breaker pedal was... I don't actually have one of it, but remember the, what is it called? The Canalia? Lollygager Effects?
Yes.
That was killer.
Yeah, Canalia, yeah.
That was really, really good as well. I don't think, no, neither of us actually have one of them now, but the other one that I use quite a bit in the studio lately, where is it? Is the question now. Here. Which is really good, is the... focus. The Greenchild 818, which is it's a Klon and a Tube Screamer, and the Klon side for mild breakup is great as well. And actually, but I don't really use it for that. The Interstellar Overdriver. Death by Audio. Really nice edge of breakup sounds.
Cool.
That's me. What about you?
I go through phases of having an always on drive.
Okay.
For a long time, it was the Silver Kiss Catlin Bird. It's one of those pedals that's okay by itself, but in a band situation, it's fantastic.
Because of cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's actually a Greer pedal called the Ghetto Stomp.
Yes. The Monstronics JFET drive. That was another one of those ones that sounds great, always on low breakup.
Before that was the vintage side of a Wampler Dual Fusion, which was very cool. That was very good.
Whatever side.
I think it was vintage.
Vintage side? Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment, I think it's mostly the Greer one, and there's... what have I got on my board? I actually forgot what I've got on my board at the moment. There's one other one. There's that, and it might be the Southland. Might be that other Greer pedal.
Okay. That's sort of a Marshally one, isn't it?
Slightly. It's just like
I remember we've done a demo of it. That's a blue one. Is it blue?
It's white.
Is it the white one?
Yeah.
Which one's the blue one?
Lightspeed.
Which we don't have. That's one we don't have.
Yeah, I kind of go through phases of...
Well, everyone kind of does to a certain degree. Another one that's really good, but I don't use it for that, is the King of Tone. But I use that more as on my pedal board. I've got the Box of Rock as the always on, and then the King of Tone is one side is like a mild overdrive, the other one is a bit heavier, and then both is sort of the even more. Cool. So I hope that answered that question. Howdy guys, have you ever messed with any of these old Vox guitars with built-in effects? I only just learned about them the other day through studying spiritualized gear. No, I personally never have. No, I've heard a lot about them, and we have played the Vox Starstream, I'm gonna say. Is that what it was called?
What was that?
The new one that we did for Malulaba Music.
Oh yeah.
We did a video. Is it Starstreamer or something like that?
Now.
It's a new one, and it's a Vox one, which has like synth stuff in that built-in, which wasn't. The idea was good, but it wasn't. It wasn't delivered well.
Is that the one that felt cheap?
Yeah, it had like this sort of plastic.
Yeah.
It like the wooden bit in the middle, and then it's sort of plastic outline on the outside.
Yeah. It felt quite.
Henning did a really good long video of it as well, and I mean the idea behind it was good, but I don't think it was made well. Yeah. I mean. If it would have been made differently, it would have been much better, in my opinion. But so no, sorry. Starstream, yeah. Okay, next one. Do you guys know Fab Chorus? What's your opinion about it? Don't think I've ever played a Fab Chorus, but the Dan Electro Fab stuff. Some of it is really good.
Is that the one I have?
You've got the Fab Metal.
Oh, is it the plastic one?
The plastic ones.
No. Yeah.
Not the Chorus, no.
Well,
I'm pretty sure that's what he means anyway, the Fab.
What's this series that the diecast ones?
The original series? I don't know. The old one with the big...
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. That course
Daddy O? Or no, that's a drive. The
Daddy series.
The Daddy series. Whatever they were. The original series. They were really, really good.
Chorus. Have you tried that chorus yet?
No.
Okay. Next time.
Okay, next time. So sorry, no. I have one I really like, the pedal cheap and sounds good. Yeah, I know a lot of the Dan Electro stuff, even now as well, the Billionaire series, which is really cheap.
Yeah.
They are really good. And a lot of the old, you've got pretty much all of them, Dan Electro series. Yep. They're great.
You know what? Our friend Aaron at Sleepwalk Games.
Yeah.
I think he got one of the plastic vibratos and rehoused it and loves it.
Yeah. It's just the cheap housing, that's the only thing, but the actual sounds are great. Like with the Behringer pedals. I mean, and now the TC Electronics, formerly known as Behringer pedals, but you put them in better housings and change a few things, and they're fantastic. Angus, hello, Angus, 2016 Young. Do you like noise rock? If so, who are your favourite noise rock bands? What are your favourite noisy pedals? Okay, well, if you want to see one of my favourite noisy pedals, this thing is killer. Where are we? There we go. Now that's about as noisy as it gets. I actually just we did a video of it ages ago, but I just did another one of them quick 5-minute videos, which will come up in the next couple of weeks, of the BuzzBox, and it's just awesome. I love that sort of stuff. I love noisy, crazy things.
Yeah.
As far as noise rock bands, not quite sure what you call noise rock and what you don't call noise rock, but I'm a huge fan of John Zorn. Yeah. I think I mentioned that once before, and a lot of the stuff he does is crazy noise stuff. And there's I can't think of the name right now, but there is a hang on, let's see if I can get this here. He has a band with Mike Patton. What are they called? Where are we? Is it Lunatic Fringe? That must be it. What are they called? I can't believe I can't think of the name right now. My brain's just not happening. Artist that goes on. Can't think of what it's called. If anyone can think of what it's called, there's a couple of bands that he sort of put together, John Zorn, and one of them is just insane noise rock with it's or I don't know if you call it noise rock. That's the thing. Mike Patton's on like vocals and screaming and yelling and stuff.
Yeah.
Trevor Dunn on bass, but he's sort of mainly, isn't it guitar? You think in it? There's like electronics. There's a guy. What's his name from Mersbo? Mersbo, is that what it's called?
Sure.
He's in that as well. What are they called? Does anyone know out there? Other Mike and Patton bands. Yeah. Oh, Jason. Hello, Jason. Phantomus, Mr. Bungle. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't consider them noise rock. I love Phantomus. I love Mr. Bungle. Mondo Khan, another great Mike Patton band. But noise rock. God, I've got to find it. Where is it? View all. Let's see if I can find it. This is riveting. You talk to people. Noise rock. Are you into noise rock?
No.
Okay, that's quick.
Short-lived. Yeah, no, I'm learning stuff. It's cool.
What is it called? God, it really annoys me now. There's lots of John Zorn there. Well, he's got a great. One of the many bands. So one of the bands he's got is called The Dreamers, which is really, really good. Which has got Mark Rebo on guitar, who's possibly one of my absolute all-time favorite guitar players. But he has, and then he's got Masada and Electric Masada. But he has this one particular Bar Kopka, which is really cool as well. But it's again not noise rock. Where is it? God, my brain is just not happening, and it really annoys me. I can't find it and can't think of it at the moment. But yeah, I mean that's. I know it's riveting, and probably everyone's leaving because I can't think of it. But yeah, I'll think of it at some stage. It'll come to me, and then all of a sudden I'll yell it out. But if you consider that noise rock, Mersbo, I think that's one of the other ones. I guess you consider that probably noise rock.
Yeah, right.
But and I think the guy is in that band from Mersbo. Cool. I'm hopeless at remembering names, but I've got all the albums. So at some stage, I'll yell it out or something like that. Okay. But that's and noisy pedals. I love noisy pedals. I love anything that's sort of a bit quirky. So the BuzzBox, I really like. This one, another one. Hang on. You talk to people.
Is it the Interstellar?
Not the Interstellar. This thing.
That. Yeah,
this thing is great. Is there anything else up here that's sort of noisy stuff? I mean, there's the Fuzz Factory is always good when it comes to noisy stuff. But yeah, this is another really cool pedal, the Zeroth Law, which is kind of loosely based on the Awesome. Yeah, that is Noise Rock, and the Buzzbox is awesome. It is pretty awesome. That's based on a robot, the Death by Audio robot, which actually...
Yeah, any Death by Audio pedals, you're kind of heading in the right direction here.
Death by Audio stuff is great.
Yeah.
Is that in here somewhere?
That, yeah, there it is.
That's loosely based on that, and is killer.
About Noise Rocky as I get is the reverberation machine.
Oh really? Well, that's not very Noise Rocky.
No.
No, I really like. Even if you listen to a lot of like Mark Ribot's solo album stuff, I love that kind of stuff, and that I would consider that noise rock,
sure.
Or noise something. But I don't know if that's. I'm always a bit. I find it hemophiliac. No, what is? Oh, it hasn't. That annoys me. I've got to check out my CDs. Anyway, yeah, it could be. I mean, Hemophilia could be one of the albums of theirs. Anyway, yeah, possibly. I don't know. My brain's not working as always. I'm on a completely different note. Probably to last time anyone has seen me, anyone actually, even on videos or anything. And you, I've aged.
Oh yes,
I'm 40 now.
Over the hill.
Yeah, way over the hill. So I'm old, so that's why my brain isn't working.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's cool. Keep the question coming, people. There's 9 people watching now, so we're getting like wow. So anything. So like with you, Alex, what sort of are you into? Any kind of music that's sort of a bit like, experimental,
like manic and kind of. What would I? Just trying to think what I used to listen to a lot. I don't listen to much these days. It's a bit sad. It's a bit sad. It's a bit tragic.
You sound old too. I haven't been listening to much these days.
The youth music makes me sad.
Those kids nowadays with their music and stuff.
The music of the youth makes me cranky. Not really that kind of stuff. There's more like experimental stuff. Is more like I don't know, slightly more worldy, I guess. With things like horns and
Moonchild. That's what it's called. I just found it. Moonchild. Which I think is it's an album, but also the band is called Moonchild, which is drums, voice, and bass.
Right. Okay.
Nothing else. And a bit quirky. Moonchild. And Naked City, of course. I don't know if you call that, if you would call that noise rock. I don't know if you would, but Naked City is sort of another John's own thing. Anyway, sure. Back to you.
What were we talking about?
You were just talking about, yeah.
Yeah, not particularly noise rock. I don't know, got into some heavy rock stuff, but definitely wasn't noise like wall of sound stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what you like. I've always been a bit bad and with like categorizing like stuff. I never quite understand what is what and what fits where, and especially the kind of music I like. Yeah. A lot of it doesn't seem to really fit into particular categories. But yeah, Moonchild. That's anyway.
Saw My Bloody Valentine a couple of years ago. That was definitely noisy.
Well, that's shoegazer, though, isn't it?
It's probably more. Yeah, but they're not young people anymore either.
No. Well, he just did. What's his name? The dude from My Bloody Valentine. He did a couple of videos for Fender because it's the 50th anniversary of the Jazzmaster.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Or 60th. Sorry, because of 58. Yeah, 60th anniversary of the Jazzmaster. And he did a couple of videos for Fender. And yeah, he's getting quite old.
Yeah, we hung out with him at this show in Brisbane. Mutual friends. Knew them from back in the day. But yeah, like...
Are they Irish?
Irish, yeah.
Irish.
And yeah, really...
Not Alan.
Yeah.
Does Alan know them?
Yeah.
Alan's one of those guys. He just knows everyone. This is Alan Kelly, a friend of ours here.
I keep making this joke to him that because he knows everyone, I'm like, I haven't been to Ireland, but I can only assume there's like 80 people in the whole country because he knows everyone.
Sorry, Ireland.
Yeah, the actually one really cool thing about because we ended up hanging backstage with him after the show and chatting to the guys and the drummer. How they have this stage set up? This, I don't know, like a dozen full stacks like on the stage. Massive amount of backline, which is all wound up and it's super loud.
Yep.
So, and the drummer, his thing is to make the projections for on the stage. So at front of house console and venue, they have a projector that maps basically the whole rectangle of the front of the stage, and they project like psychedelic type pattern-y things. And
cool. That is pretty cool.
But he does it all himself. He like wanders around London and stuff and films like with a handy cam and films stuff through like an empty like glass bottle. Or the other thing he said he uses like a bottle of olive oil and film stuff through that. So you get this sort of molten.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
And then messes with in the computer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we ended up chatting about that for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're really cool guys.
That's very cool. It would have been interesting to go and see. I just noticed also we had a few questions on our Facebook page. So Bill O'Callaghan, O'Callaghan, I think it's Bill O'Callaghan. Is that how you would pronounce it?
Yeah.
Bill O'Callaghan. Have you guys ever looked at the Digitech X series pedals, particularly the factory pedals, the EX7, DF7, and CF7? Wondering how close they emulate the original pedals. Now, I had a
to remind myself which series
guitar student of mine, I think, had the Distortion Factory. Or which one's the one with that? Which one's this one?
EX7. That's the Expression.
Expression Factory.
Right.
That has like whammy on it, but it also has distortions on it, I think, and stuff like that. And I thought that was really good. One of my guitar students bought one of them secondhand because he wanted some more stuff.
Sure.
And I thought it was pretty cool because that as well has not like a normal wah pedal where you turn it on and it's got like the toe position. You also have a heel position switch.
Okay.
So you can turn two things on. Okay. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That's quite
I think that's the only one I played. I did play I don't think it was part of that. It was part of the Artist series or whatever they called the right. Brian May one.
Yeah, they
which
did.
Was as well like a like a expression pedal kind of thing.
Like 5 or 10 years ago, they did a few like Eric Clapton and.
Yeah, they did the Crossroads one. That was just a normal pedal.
Yeah, like an overdrive.
Then they did the Brian May. They did the Hendrix one. That's right. I played it as well. I don't know if that's all part of that series, but I actually quite liked some of them. I thought they were quite good.
I've never played them, to be honest.
Yeah, a student of mine a couple of years ago bought one somewhere, somehow quite cheap, and brought it into lessons, and we played around with it, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Because I think it had like whammy on it, but then it also maybe had wah on it and had a few other things on it, so lots of stuff on it. It was interesting anyway. But that's about it. So Bill O'Callaghan on Facebook. This is about a month ago, sorry. Robin Smith. Dudes, I'm an early adopter. I'll try the latest stuff when it comes out. I'll incorporate laptops, Eurorack gear, samplers, what have you in my playing. But going back to 19-inch rack gear without tech and semi to drag it all around, no, that's nonsense. Oh, that's for us when we're saying rack gear is making a comeback.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily for lugging it around, but I still think rack gear is making a comeback.
Yeah.
Whether people will lug it around to gigs. See, I think
they will.
Possibly will, but I do think
guitarists always have and always will do lug shit.
Yeah, no. But I do think we're going through for the first time in a long, long time with guitar players, because guitar players are a bit slow, and I mean I'm including myself in that. Guitar players are a bit slow. I think for the first time we're actually seeing quite a big shift in that you have a lot of players now who, when they go and play live, they'll bring the Kemper, or they'll bring a Helix, or they'll bring the Axe FX.
Yeah.
But at home or in the studio, completely different story. You know, they use lots of pedals, they have all these different boutique amps and stuff like that.
Right.
But I think it's gotten to a point where the digital emulation stuff is getting so good that a lot of players live can't be stuffed lugging too much crap around.
Sure.
And just bring the bare essentials.
So you're thinking the rack is making a comeback, but not for gigs.
Not necessarily for gigs, I don't think,
Just for
but for studio stuff. And I think nowadays as well, because, you know, iMacs, like the one we're sitting in front of here, and but not just Mac stuff, also PC stuff, like all the Surface, the laptops and stuff that's coming out. It's getting so powerful that, and cheap to a certain, not cheap, but that having a sort of a fairly decent recording studio at home is getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And I think more and more people have home recording studios. And I think the outboard stuff is kind of making a comeback more than ever before now, I think.
Because of the studios.
Because of people having, there's more home studios.
And it's kind of becoming that thing of we're actually getting vintage digital effects.
Yeah, like I mean, look at Boss digital delays that are now going for quite a lot of money because, I mean, a DD3 that's got the old long chip in it, and I don't even know what that means really.
Like your Roland rack effects, that's how old would that be? The guitar.
The GP8, is it GP8?
Yeah. Would that be
late 80s, early 90s? Maybe early 90s.
Maybe early 90s. But yeah, even 5-10 years before that, all this digital rack stuff. That's now 30 years old. You know?
And people are reliving their youth. Yeah. I think a lot of it has got to do with reliving your youth. Like with me with this. I mean, I remember the DoD stuff from when I was young and I first started playing guitar, and I see it really cheap now, and I go, oh, you know what? Even if it sounds crap, I don't care. I want to have it. Even though I don't think it sounds crap, I think it sounds good. But and same with this. I mean, literally the only reason why I bought them, that one and the Route 66, which is up there, is because I found them really cheap, and I always liked the look of them because they look odd in guitar magazines when I first started playing. Sure. Which is why I'm kind of drawn to them, I suppose. Same with, all the Line 6 stuff. I got into all the Line 6 stuff because it's, again, when I first started playing, it was in all the magazines. And
there is something about low bitrate digital sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, like I've got a TC Electronic, was it M1? Is that the multi-effects rack? Whatever it is. I think it's an M1. And it's 5-10 years old, maybe 5 years old. And it just kind of sounds a bit meh. I don't think it's like super clean. It's a bit uneventful.
But I wonder if in 20 years those people will go, oh wow, those really uneventful ones.
Yeah. Maybe in 2013 when we get there.
I mean the old digital stuff you see, and it's getting very expensive, especially a lot of the old Roland rack ones, which are digital.
Yeah. And stuff like even Tide H3000s and stuff.
That's all digital too? Yeah, all that stuff is digital, isn't it? But it has a certain sound to it.
Yeah.
They just released the Reverb as a software thing with a little hardware controller as well. Did you see that?
Not TC Electronic.
Oh, TC, not even tight. Sorry, TC Electronic. Yeah, they did the.
They've done the 2290.
2290 with the hardware controller,
which I want to get with badly.
And Desert Island Overdrive pedals, James Cassidy. Okay, Desert Island Overdrive pedals.
This week it is.
This week.
I think it's the Jam Pedals Tube Dreamer Plus. There we go.
Tube Dreamer Plus, yeah, that was a cool pedal. Now, you have to have...
This week it is.
You have to have a... The thing is, what pedal sounds good through a battery-powered amp?
And plugged into a palm tree.
Plugged into a palm tree.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have power. I would say...
Not so much Desert Island, it's just an island resort.
If I could only take one...
Yeah. Which is the question.
I would probably take a King of Tone.
Sure.
Just because it's so versatile. You can do a whole lot of different stuff with it.
Lol.
Okay. Or, I mean, really now, actually, if I were to go on a desert island and there was a limited amount of electricity, I would probably get a Katana Air. Is it what it's called? Mini? The little battery-powered one?
Oh.
Just because you have every freaking effect on it. It's battery-powered. wireless, so you can run down the beach with your guitar.
You can go fishing while you
yeah.
play. Yeah.
So maybe that actually, because that's. I mean, and let's say you only have a solar pack to power the batteries.
Okay, next question off that: desert island modulation.
Boss Katana Air. Modulation. Oh. What about, okay, let's, just because it's sitting right here, what about that one? Because it's also got a drum machine in it. And amp emulation. So this does everything.
Cool.
Or, again, is it cheating to say Eventide H9?
A little bit.
Is it a little bit? Okay,
one algorithm on the H9. We should do more videos of that, by the way.
We should do more videos of that.
When I'm rich, I'll buy 2.
Yeah, I would like to have a second one for my board, one for the studio, or possibly even 2 for the board, 1 for the studio. But anyway, it's down the track. You need to get the rack thing, which costs like $11 million.
I think it's $11,000 Australian.
Is it 11,000? Wow. Well, there you go. I'm not going to buy that.
No.
I'll get another H9 because I've got. Because I think you can have up to 6 if you're maxed out. Anyway, modulation. I'm not that huge on modulation. Is a whammy pedal considered modulation?
Sure.
Whammy pedal.
Modulates the pitch of the...
Yeah. Whammy pedal.
Okay, cool.
What about you?
I reckon my Moog tremolo.
Oh, okay.
I do like that. It's quite nice. Because it can do wacky stuff and also do really sweet, pretty things.
Okay. Desert Island. What else is there?
Guitar.
Delay. Reverb delay. Time-based.
Time-based. Oh, okay. $1,000. Earthquake and Isis pedal.
Oh yeah, well, we'll get to that. Okay.
Time-based.
Desert Island time-based.
This week?
This week. Well, all of them are like today.
Yeah. Oh, man. Tricky question, isn't it? I'm tempted to say the Empress Tape Delay.
Okay.
Again, you can do really pretty stuff, but it can also go wacky. Not me.
Not me. Is it my turn? I'm going to say, just because it has delay and reverb on it, and it's...
Boss Katana.
Boss Katana Air, yeah. No, is it plugged in?
Well, that section.
Yeah, it's plugged in, but I can unplug it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
This has got... This, I think, is, in my personal opinion, one of the most underrated delay reverb pedals.
Stereo?
Yeah. One of the most underrated delay reverb pedals ever. I didn't notice. Did that move into this shot now? I didn't think it was in shot before. Anyway, most underrated. One of the highest underrated one, in my opinion. And it's absolutely killer. So I'm going to say this one, because it's got reverb and delay on it, and they both sound great. But I still also want an actual space station one day. Space Echo Space Station.
And a space station.
Space station. Space Echo on the space station.
There's one for sale, I think $600. Space station. Digitech.
Oh, Oh, $600?
Yeah.
Yeah, the yellow one. Yeah, they're expensive.
Gold, yeah.
I thought you meant an actual space station.
No, they're more than $600.
But then you need a cat and a bigger chair that you can swim around in.
Russian space program.
Russian space program.
Fund your...
What's your favourite Earthquaker Devices pedal? Bit Commander.
I'm just trying to think of all the ones I've tried.
Speaking of noise stuff, Bit Commander.
Sure, yeah.
The Bit Commander, it's the coolest pedal when you play in a band where if you sort of fill in a band, right, and a lot of the other guys haven't played with you before, especially the bass player, if there's a bass player, and you turn on the Bit Commander, and all of a sudden they go, what am I here for? Because it just takes up all the frequency.
It's so massive. I've had that gig myself.
Yeah, with you.
Yeah.
And the bass just goes like, I may as well just stop playing. Because it just goes from ridiculously low to, like, it takes up all the frequencies that you need.
Especially all the volume as well.
All the yeah, well, I have it loud, yeah. So. Bit Commander, I'm going to say.
Just because I've tried a few, but I'm going to say Avalanche Run.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a Desert Island time-based thing too, because it's still a river, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's still not my favourite.
Still not the favourite?
It kind of, it's a little bit one-trick pony for me. It's ambient world. Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Afterneath is awesome. Yeah, cool, okay.
What are your thoughts on green muffs? Well, I think you need to eat something healthier.
Maybe try showering.
No. Can't say that. No. Green muffs. Okay. A friend of mine, Daniel Brown, who is now in Scotland, who used to be the bass player in my band. He had, and I still slightly hate him for it. He had one of the old green soft muffs. No, that's not why I hate him. I hate him because he got rid of it and didn't give it to me, and didn't even give me a chance to get it. And he had an old Qtron as well, which I really wanted, but he sold it as well without telling me. That's why I hate him.
That's fair enough.
Which I thought was one of the biggest guitar sounds, like playing through that. He had a Strat with lace sensor pickups, which some people like, some people don't. I actually thought they were alright. I don't know which colour they were, but it was an old Strat with lace sensor pickups in it. Maybe let's close this door because there's noisy neighbours being noisy.
Some machinery going on.
My new neighbours are noisy.
Like guitar louder.
It was So he had a Strat with a big muff, and I don't remember what amp it was going into. God knows, but it was the most massive guitar sound, and I thought it was fantastic. So that's sort of one of those pedals I always kind of wanted to get, but they're just stupidly expensive. And I haven't had a chance to try out the new ones yet.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I want to shoot out because they did the op-amp one, which is just basically a big muff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the new little green one. So maybe we should try and
they've got and they're quite cheap. Maybe we should just try and get a few. There's the green one, the Russian one. There's the triangle one now that they just released, and the op-amp one.
Okay, stay tuned for that.
We'll see what we can do.
Commandeer something. Makes it sound like a pirate. Afterneath is awesome.
Oh, have this and love it. Expensive though. Yeah, they are very expensive. Afterneath is awesome. I haven't tried it yet, to tell you the truth. Yeah. Afterneath. Do you guys have a band? Not us together. No. Oh, well, we have played together. Yeah. At times.
Various.
At the moment, I don't think I'm really in any band. It's just around here and what I do. I mean, Alex mentioned earlier on, I think you do mostly sound work, like front of house production work.
Yeah, and then the gigs would do like freelance and subbing in gigs. So I still play a bit, but it's not particularly one like touring band or a regular covers gig.
No. No, for me at the moment, my regular work is solo acoustic stuff. We live here. I live in just outside of Noosa, which is on the Sunshine Coast here, and in Queensland, in Australia. And I play in a lot of restaurants in Noosa, just sort of background music, and at like Sofitel resorts and stuff like that. I do like a lot of that. That's sort of my bread and butter. That's
they're nice gigs.
They're nice gigs, but it's not party music, not band gigs. I used to be in a couple of sort of corporate bands that were quite regular, but it's sort of all band stuff around here sadly sort of dying out a little bit. There's festivals and stuff where you get every once in a while, and again that's every once in a while you get a gig.
Yeah. Most of my plans either corporate stuff or festivals.
Yeah.
For other artists.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've done sort of my own thing.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
Just for fun of it.
Yeah. Just the two of us and a drum machine. With a cardboard cutout.
That's one in that.
Oh yeah, just that. just that. Focus. Yeah, but yeah, sadly, that's just the way it is here. And I mean, my main source of income is performing. Sadly, I know as glamorous as the world of YouTube looks, there's hardly any income from that. I mean, we do get awesome people like this guy from Italy send us pedals, but yeah, there's no money in this. And I teach guitar, but my main income is gigging, but it's all solo stuff, so no band, sadly. Dig the Ghost Echo, kind of regret selling my Bit Commander. I've never tried the Ghost Echo either. Bit Commander I love. I think it's just absolutely killer. Is there a difference between boosting the front of your amp with volume from a pedal and a clean line booster?
What do you mean by clean line booster?
That's basically, I mean, if it's a clean boost, that's what all it does is gives you more volume.
Yep.
That's all it is. So it's boosting volume into the front of your amp. So if you have an amp, so for example, right?
Depends on the amp, doesn't it?
Depends on the amp. So just to give you an example, the two amps in the back here, right? There's the Origin 50, which is a 50 watt Marshall, and the Bassbreaker 15, right? Now, if we were to have them sitting here into two separate speaker cabinets, right? And turn them both up to roughly the same volume, right? One's 15 watts, one's 50 watt, right? Let's say the Bassbreaker, let's say we turn a Marshall up to, I'm just saying a number, on the Master to 2,
yep.
And the Bassbreaker would probably be more likely on 5 or 6 to get sort of roughly similar level, or maybe a little less, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Now, you run a boost pedal into the Fender, and because the Fender is... let's start with the Marshall. You run a boost pedal into the Marshall. Because the Marshall, you've got 50 watts, you're only in about 2 or so on the volume, you run a boost into it, what will happen is it'll most likely stay clean and the volume will go up. Now, if you run the boost pedal, that same boost pedal, you just unplug it and plug exactly the same, don't touch anything, into the same volume, roughly the same sound, like you work at the same tone, like a nice clean, not breaking up yet, just clean. The only thing is on the Fender now, because it's on the 15 watts, you don't have much headroom left. You're kind of almost on the verge of it distorting as it is. So now you run the boost into it. What will happen is you won't really get much of a volume boost, if any volume boost at all. You will get more gain. So what you're doing is you're actually overdriving the preamp section of your amp, which gives you overdrive.
And sustain and all that.
And sustain and compression.
Yeah.
So what will also happen is with the Marshall, it'll just get louder, but it'll feel pretty much the same. With the Fender, because the tubes are working harder, you get that compression, so it feels much nicer too. So that's sort of the main... I wonder if that's sort of what you mean, but that's sort of the main difference between... a boost, any boost, actually any distortion pedal is just a boost. But in a distortion pedal, so let's say in here, right, this thing, or DS1 or whatever it is, Focus, this thing, what happens is you run your guitar signal into it, and then you overdrive the crap out of whatever diode or whatever it is in there that creates the distortion.
Crystals and gypsy magic.
The unicorns in there. You kind of overdrive, like what it does is it just boosts the volume like crazy. And the whatever, I guess different pedals use different things, but whether it's like a germanium thing or a silicon thing or LED clipping or whatever different diodes is it that create the clipping, you just overdrive the crap out of them. That clips gives you the distortion, and then you can actually turn the volume down afterwards and send it into there, into an amp. So that's what a distortion pedal does. And it's the same thing with a boost. So if you run a boost into an amp, if you haven't, that's why like amps that have like 100 watt amps, and the term headroom, what that means is whether you have it fairly quiet or relatively loud, it won't, like running a distortion pedal into it or running a boost into it, it won't change the sound of the amp. It just changes the volume.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have low wattage amps with less headroom, it will change it because you hit the front end of it so hard.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go.
There's a ceiling. You're hitting that ceiling.
And it just, have you ever run a 50 watt amp so loud that you can't get louder?
Well, this one I have.
In real speakers?
No.
It's amazing. Because you use a torpedo cab sim.
I do use a cab sim, and I have that when I do the demos. I mean, the master's on about 6, and it's freaking loud. Like I can tell just by the meters how loud it is. I had to turn things really down because it's ridiculously loud. But no, I never have.
Oh, yeah. I have. I did this gig once in a rock covers thing, and it was one of those gigs that came from somewhere else, and it had like 20 minutes to set up and get going. And I had it was a PV Classic 50, the 212s, and like I think I didn't even have pedals. Like just like super late to the gig, just wound it up, and it was so loud, and just like a bit more. It wouldn't get louder. It's just like,
yeah, well, that's it. You hit like most amps. I think when you get to around sort of 4 or 5, even like after that, you don't. It doesn't get louder. It just gets overdriven.
The 212s at 50 watts, like, so rock and roll.
Going back
super
to
squishy too, like the feel.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, it would compress like crazy.
It's great.
Back in the original music days of mine, back in the olden Giveaway podcast, but Dewey, my friend Dewey, he played in a band called Low Sheen Vinyl.
Cool.
Back in the days, and the guitarist in that band, John, whatever his last name was, he used to have this. He had this old VHT Pitbull, I think.
I remember those. Yeah.
I think it was 50 watts.
Yep.
And he had it. There was sort of like a quite heavy alternative rock band, you know, mid '90s, and he used to have it sitting there, and a lot of times, and he used to crank the crap out of it because he was a big fan of Helmet, the band Helmet, and he set it exactly the same as the guy in Helmet because that was the certain sound, and it did sound good, but it was stupidly loud to the point where he could never. All the PA guys said, we can't turn the PA up loud enough to match the guitar. So when he played gigs, he always had the amp in front of him facing backwards. Because it was ridiculously loud. But and I think that was a 50 watt VHT Pitbull. I'm pretty sure they were called Pitbull 50.
I remember playing one of those.
Is it Page Hamilton, the guy from Helmet? I think that's what his name. And he had it. He saw or he went to a Helmet gig and saw how he had it set, and he set it exactly the same way.
That's fantastic.
Hello, Unibox Warehouse. Sorry, not Unibox. Unbox Warehouse. Hello, Unbox Warehouse. We do unboxings too sometimes.
I went to this to a university audition once. I was in high school, and
university audition in high school.
Yeah, because you auditioned for a music course in grade 12. For the next
gotcha.
Year. And so we had a mutual friend who was a guitar teacher and family friend, the guy who knew someone who was in the middle of the course. He said, why don't you catch up with this guy? He can show you around the campus and just see what it's really like and see whether you want to go ahead with it, blah, blah, blah. And he had one of those amps, Pitbull 50 amps, and a purple PRS with 3 white soap bars. It was the coolest thing in the world in 1998.
Because that guy had, I think it was, was it John McFarlane? Was that his name? He had a blue PRS.
Oh, really?
But not with 3 pickups or 2 pickups.
Yeah, I still remember this, like the quilted maple top with transparent purple and then 3 white soap bars. It was the coolest thing in the world when you're 16 or 17.
Wow. Okay, what are we going? Yeah, pretty. Hang on, I just meant like the output of a pedal versus dedicated boost pedal. Is there a difference? But I think it's all just volume, like you say. Yeah.
Depends on the pedal, how much output level you can get on.
Yeah. So, for example, a Klon style pedal, usually you have ridiculous amounts of output on it. So you can give it. I mean, you can watch a Klon shootout and all the videos we've done of it, but you can basically overdrive the crap out of an amp by turning the volume up, but then you can also give it gain, so you can give it gain and volume.
So you're right, but also some boost pedals have colour to them, like the super hard, so you might actually use it as a colour option as well as volume boost.
Yeah. So to give you that little bit of magic sauce, which
like some clean boosts have like a mid boost switch or a bass boost switch, or
so for example on the OB1, the Strymon compressor.
Yeah.
You've got the compressor and you've got the boost side. And the boost, you can set it to treble boost, mid boost, or a flat boost.
So you can not only use it as a volume boost, but also a frequency boost as well, which is a cool tool to use.
Which, and that's a whole different thing. That's a whole show basically, treble bursts. Yeah. And I think actually, was it that pedal show that did one on treble bursts?
I think so, yeah.
And it's not necessarily just a treble boost, but anyway, it's but yeah, it gives you different sounds and different tonal options. Now all the questions are coming. I think pedals like tube screamers, etc., would just color the tone more. Exactly right. Yeah, that's what. Bobo Bohannon. Hello, Bobo Bohannon. What modulated reverb before gain? What modulated reverb before gain pedals? What gain would you use as well?
So distort the tail of the reverb. Talking about?
I guess so. Put a reverb before. I don't know. That's interesting. Don't know if I ever really tried putting reverb in front of gain.
Depends how much you want to distort the reverb.
Because I mean, I know.
If you just want a bit crunchy, maybe just no blood overdrive.
I think that Pete Thorne did a video of running delays into distorted amps.
Yeah.
And how to sort of you get a different tonal character from it, and I don't know. I never tried it. Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be cool for like wall of sound type stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be. Sorry, Bobo Bohannon. Jay Steen, what scales are most important for you when you doing pedal deep
demos?
Oh, demos. Scales. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I never even remotely think about what I'm playing before we record demos. It's just whatever comes out, comes out. I tend to... Okay, let's say I've noticed, because, okay, when we do videos, right, what happens is, and we've sort of talked about that before, hello, Eln Arnie from Iowa. Hello. Is it Eln? Eln? Would you come out? Eln Arnie from Iowa, USA. Hello.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
What was I just getting at? Oh yeah. So when we do the videos, right, we usually just have a whole bunch of pedals there and we go, which one are we doing now? Unless we have a bunch that we really need to do because someone sent us stuff. But half the time we just pick, and even then we sort of randomly just pick ones. And literally we press record and then I'll go, you do the intro. Or you go, oh.
And it kind of depends on the...
One of us points at each other. And then we literally pull it out of our, you know what we mean, pull it out of our bottoms, basically. And I never think about what we play, but then you go back to it. Like, so Alex usually edits the audio, and then he sends me the audio and I edit the video. And then watching it back, I find with me, this is just me, if it's a cleanish sort of thing, like a cleaner sort of sound, so if we're doing, let's say, delay pedal or reverb or like a mild breakup overdrive, I tend to default, for whatever reason, back to major scale. And I tend to always, one thing I do, and I've noticed myself doing is, I kind of hit the low E and let it ring and play E major scale over it.
All right.
I don't know why, but that seems to be what I kind of default back to when it's clean. When it's distorted, I don't know if I don't know. That's just one thing I've noticed. But scales, I don't know. I don't think about it half the time.
To be honest, it's usually the sound of the effect that dictates what you play.
Yeah. And you can usually tell, I think, with me anyway, if I quite enjoy playing the pedal, it'll bring out some weird stuff. Yeah. And if not, it'll just be noodling. Yeah. But
that's it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that sort of but I never really think about it that much. Super hard on SFT EQ equal Queens of the Stone Age. What's SFT?
That's a
Is that a Catlin Bread?
one.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it though. I want to. Love Catlin Bread stuff. It's super cool.
Just picked up an Architect version 1 from Matthews Effects Thoughts. That's the Klon, isn't it?
Yeah, we had one of those. It's very cool.
I thought it was one of the better Klon pedals.
And it's one of those things where it's their take on a circuit, so it's not a clone.
Because you've got a 3-band EQ on that, I'm pretty sure. So it's bass, mids, and trebles.
Did we have version 1 or not?
Did we have version 2?
Could have done. Anyway, we had one.
We had one of the versions.
It was blue and had 3 EQ controls.
I'm pretty sure it had 3 EQ controls, and it had a toggle switch too for a couple of different clipping options. Sorry, I just spat when I said that.
Yeah, that was cool.
The germanium settings kill. Yeah, I think it does. It has germanium, silicon, and no diodes or something like that.
And custard.
Custard.
Custard setting.
Yeah.
Some other dessert-based.
Dessert-based. It's great. It's a three-way switch. Yeah. It was a little while ago when we did that, but
we don't have it anymore. But it was very good. Yeah.
Hi to Rick Matthews as well, if you're watching. Yeah, he kindly sent us one last year. It was about a year ago when we did the whole Klon thing. So we did a video of that. There's a video of that we did online somewhere. The Desert Island Dirt pedal, meaning choose either an overdrive, distortion, or a fuzz. Ooh, okay. So it can be any dirt pedal.
Do you have to name the actual model?
It works on battery.
Works on battery, obviously.
Into a battery pattern. Okay, any dirt pedal. I guess I would maybe choose Fuzz Factory, just because it's so versatile and it's fun.
Sure.
You can do silly stuff with it. Maybe Fuzz Factory.
It's probably not my Desert Island one. The one I really like is actually the Foot Fuzz, the JHS little mini.
Oh, the purple thing.
Purple thing. That's fun.
It depends on the when you put a band together with the monkeys that live on the island.
Yeah.
What type of music you play?
Well, the theme from Monkey Magic.
Monkey Magic. Yeah, I'd say Fuzz Factory. I really like the Fuzz Factory. That's sort of one of my
generally
all-time.
Has to be a really good distortion for me, like distortion pedals.
Or lately, actually, the TD1, Mostronics TD1 tube driver. I think that the only thing is, on a desert island, can you power 16-volt AC?
Well, yeah, because monkeys have a coal fire. Anyway, hey, James Cassidy has to run, but he said there's a he's after looking for a phaser under $200. He's having trouble finding a good phaser. I think I'm in the same boat.
I still think. Okay, look, I have here.
Yeah.
A very expensive phaser.
Yeah.
Focus. I have a very expensive phaser here, which sounds great. But for me personally, the one I always go back to, and I think it's a killer sounding phaser, the Script Logo MXR.
Is that the 90? Yeah.
And that's the one that doesn't have the LED. So this is maybe a slightly more expensive one, a hand-wired one, and that's why I've got my little.
Oh.
And it's got no
ghetto mod.
It's got no electricity thing on it either. So I did this with
I believe it's called a ghetto mod.
Ghetto mod, yes,
yeah.
With just a 9-volt adapter inside. In all honesty, I always go back to that.
Interesting.
And it's a really good sounding phaser, and I think they're really cheap.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely
I know
under $200.
I know Boss. I mean, the Boss phasers are really good too, but to me they were always too pronounced, it's too strong.
Kind of
if you listen to any Incubus, if there's any phaser on it, that's always the Boss, and it's like super strong phaser.
Yeah. The
Phase 90 to me is just it's
kind of a classic thing too. Huh?
It's just, it has one knob, no mucking around. I think it's super easy. That's to me. I need something a little more versatile and speed than the Phase 90.
Right. Whoa. Leave that with us because we might have to think. I'm keen to find out too.
Maybe even check out, and it's just me, check out some of the old DoD stuff. Because they're stupidly cheap. Like, for example, this is actually quite a good phaser.
Which one have you got? I don't think that far.
The Supersonic Stereo. Oh, that's a flanger, not a phaser. What am I saying? No, I don't have one of their. I don't actually have one of their phasers.
You could try the TC Electronics ones. They're all tone printy.
Oh yeah, they're cheap.
They're super versatile.
What is it? Vortex? Is that what it's called? No, that's a flanger. Whatever it's called. TC.
Anyway, TC.
Actually, I'm sure they make one. The TC Electronics, formerly known as Behringer pedals. I'm sure they make a phaser in that.
Probably, yeah.
And all of the stuff I've played of the big box, what used to be Behringer, now TC Electronics ones. They're killer.
What's the expensive one? That's the Chase Bliss.
That's the Womb Tone. That's the version 1 Womb Tone, which is mega overkill because you've got all this stuff in the back. Where the dip switches up the top there. This is still a version 1 with the dip switches down the bottom now than the back. So now they have tremolo. But this one, it's stupidly expensive.
Oh yeah. 20B, is that the phaser?
20B, yeah, maybe. Did it? I don't have one of their phasers, sadly. I need to get one. But I know, again, this is just me personally talking. I really like the D&D stuff. Most of it is analog, and because it's quite old, it's all the good old chips that you want in there. And they're good and stupidly cheap. The only thing sometimes with the old D&D stuff is you need to get one of...
Power supplies? You're talking about
one of these thingies. Oh, where is it? It's
they have
it somewhere. The converter, power supply converter. I've got one floating around here somewhere. One of these thingies. Because they have the. Oh, is this going to focus? There it is. Because it's got a kind of headphone jack power supply. So you just plug your normal 9-volt into that, and that into the pedal. Suchly. Is that going to focus? Behringer VP1 phaser, yeah. That's what I mean. Like, I'm sure. I don't know.
$25 new.
Yeah.
You could buy 2 and just have one in case you
run
over it.
Yeah, Utah. That's right. They're all made in Utah in the USA. Sandy, Utah, and they're killer. Like I said, I really, really like all of them. I think they're awesome pedals. They sound good. They're old. They'll most likely, hopefully, that's what I'm sort of hoping anyway, go up in value at one stage. The big, heavy sucker TC Electronics ones that used to be the Behringer ones, because all of them I've played are excellent.
TC plug-in would you recommend for a studio?
TC Electronic plug-in?
Well, they've just come out with the 2290 delay.
And the reverb as well, with the hardware controller. I haven't actually used any of them.
Yeah.
Any of the plugins.
Keen to? Definitely keen to.
Yeah, I'd love to try it out. I mean, if Tor, hello Tor, Pedal Jesus, if they would ever want to send us any pedals or anything to review, we'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Plugins, no, I don't know.
I assume you're after like time-based stuff and modulation because it's TC. So
I personally, Sound Toys. I really like the Sound Toy stuff. Echo Baby is a great, not Echo Baby, Echo Boy is a great delay plugin. If you want a really good reverb, Eventide make the Space. Is that what it's called? Space, like the Space thing.
Do you have a copy of that?
Yeah, I do.
How much?
Which is really good. Sound Toys. I really like. I even made a video of it that hardly anyone watched. But Sound Toy stuff is great and not that expensive. They always do deals. And the thing with Sound Toys is, here's the little thing: get on the mailing list when you get a deal on a plugin, cheap. Buy the cheap plugin, and then the thing is, then you're in, and then to buy other plugins, you actually get cheaper options. And then once you have a couple of plugins, to then buy the whole suite, the Soundtoys 5 suite or whatever it is.
Yeah. Sometimes
they have it really stupidly cheap. But I bought mine for very, very cheap.
Cool.
And I've got the whole suite, and it's killer stuff. Have you played any T-Rex effects? Yes.
Street.
T-Rex, while I'm getting all my pedals off the shelves.
This is very good. You grab the Mudhoney.
The Mudhoney, that's a killer pedal.
It's one of the handmade ones from Snowland.
That's from Denmark. So that's one of the ye oldie ones.
Snowland.
Well, it's TC.
Snowland.
I think, isn't it? I remember watching an interview with Tor or Tore, whatever you call it, from TC, and they're in the same town even, I think.
Yeah.
Like not far from each other.
They have to huddle together for body warmth. And the soldering irons give a warm up.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
The soldering iron for all the digital stuff they do.
Yeah. Connect the connectors.
Yeah, and with T-Rex, I would absolutely love to try out their I think it's Replicator, the tape echo stuff.
Oh yeah.
With the cartridges. Love to try that out. That's if anyone from T-Rex is watching, can we say pretty please? Lots of pretties. We do put as many pretties as you like on it. Send us one.
Nice.
Or preferably two. There's a couple of different. There's a junior and a big one.
There is a junior. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe send us one each, and then we can each have one.
Sweet.
Let's do just quickly one or two more, and then we're already an hour and 30, so that's very long.
Yeah, I might have to go soon.
Yeah. Oh, you can go. I'll stay.
Okay.
What band or bands got you into guitars, pedals?
We kind of covered that last one.
We sort of covered it last time. Probably.
Check out our last podcast we streamed.
Probably pedals more than any other band. Probably Primus.
Sure.
I remember going to see Primus. I saw them a few times live, and always going to check out the pedal board, Larry Lalonde's pedal board, and seeing what he had on it because he had lots of pedals on it. But yeah, our last live stream we sort of talked about that. Yeah. The Hobo Drive was nice. Yes, I watched a couple of demos of.
That's the TC one. Yeah.
No, that's the T-Rex.
T-Rex.
I think Henning HP42 did a couple of videos on that, on a couple of the T-Rex pedals, and they sounded really, really good. But I haven't really played that much more. But okay, you got to go. So we've got to thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and let us know if you want us to do more of these Q&A things. If I can work out how to do the event and then actually streaming in the event and not starting a separate stream, we might actually do an event kind of thing for that for the next one. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And so you can. This will stay on YouTube, so you can watch it on there as well. But you can also listen to it on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, and Spotify because it's a podcast. So thanks to all the viewers. Thanks to everyone sending questions. Good night, Brazil. Good night, Iowa.
Good night, Canberra.
Good night, Canberra, if you're still there. And the guy from the Sunshine Coast, he's probably left because he's probably on the beach.
Yeah. Nice day.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the questions. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. See you next time.
Cool. Catch you later.
Bye-bye now.